Hey guys, I'm going to show you how to get set up with Star Trek Attack Wing for Tabletop Simulator. And I've made a lot of different videos with a lot of different parts of how to do it, but I want to give you one from start to finish so it's real clear on the steps. First thing you want to do is grab Steam, create an account if you don't have one. You can see right here I'm logged in right now. But once you get on Steam, you want to go to this address, which I'll post in the description, and this is where you purchase the game Tabletop Simulator. And Tabletop Simulator has a ton of games inside of it. It's community supported, lots of people making lots of different games. Anything from Dungeons and Dragons to poker to pretty much anything. But the main reason I got it was for Star Trek Attack Wing. And Star Wars X-Wing, which I think is pretty cool on here too. They're very similar. But just scroll down once you get to this page. It says right here, Buy Tabletop Simulator. You click Add to Cart. You go through, purchase it. Then you're going to install it into your games. When you purchase it, the next thing it's going to have is, to install. You're going to need to install Steam if you don't have it, and then you're going to need to install Tabletop Simulator. So if I didn't have Steam, right here it says Install Steam. So this will let you install it on your computer. And Steam looks like this. It's just a program that runs and it manages all of your games. So once you get in here, you purchase the Tabletop Simulator and install it. And then to install the mod Star Trek Attack Wing, all you need to do is come over to the second link I'm going to include, which is going to look like this. And these are all the things that are created by Crazy Vulcan, which happen to all be workshop items related to Star Trek Attack Wing. This setup, so Star Trek Attack Wing setup, is going to be the core game. This is what you need to play the game. If you just get one thing, this is all you need, because this has more than 20 builds in it. You can just get started real quick with this. When you click on this, the way that you install this onto Tabletop Simulator is you just hit subscribe. Right here, this big green button. And if you're not logged in, it'll ask you to log in. But you just need to make sure you're logged into the same Steam account that you purchased Tabletop Simulator. You hit subscribe, you're done. Then you just launch the game and play. These other items, there's Dominion, Romulan, Borg, Mirror Universe. All of these are all of the ships and all of the upgrade cards, all the ship models, all the movement templates, the ship cards, everything you need for each of these factions. So what you want to do, ideally, is to subscribe to all of these, so you can come in and make your own decks. This Minor Factions has a bunch of different factions in it, and you can see there's the piles of cards, there's the ship models, and what you do is once you come in here, is you take the ship you want, you take the ship card, the maneuver template card, and then pick a captain, pick some upgrades, you get them all in a group, and then you save that as your build. And it could be either one ship or it could be a fleet of ships, however you want to do it. But the main thing is you want to come to this link, which is going to be the second link I'm going to include in the description, and this is going to include all the things that you want to subscribe to. So you just come here, click on each of these, subscribe. The one that's the most important though is the setup, because this is the actual game that you're going to be playing with all this other stuff. So once that's done, you come into Steam, find Tabletop Simulator, hit play, and the game launches. And then you can go to single player, multiplayer. If you want to find another game, I would typically hit multiplayer, server browser, and then type Star Trek or something down in the search. But you get a lot of different games. I have hide locked and hide full, because obviously those are games I can't join. But these are all different games that people are playing, how many people are playing it. But let's start with, we'll just go into single player because we don't want anyone jumping in our game. And what you want to do is go to workshop, and then since we're going to be building a deck, we'll pick these. Some of these other things are just other things I subscribe to, so you can ignore that. But let's just pick on Federation, for example. Just click on it, click load, let it load, and there. Now we have all the Federation ships. Once you're in here, just pick your ship. Let's grab Voyager. And then if you right click on this deck, you can do a search. And you can hover over these and see what they are. And the search doesn't work when you type in the text, but you can, they are in order of cost. So you can see these are all 22. You scroll down, these are 28. So if you know the cost of the ship that you're looking for, it's pretty easy to find. Voyager, I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's kind of expensive. Here it is. That's a ship card. I'm just dragging it out. And what it's doing is it's pulling it out of this deck and putting it right here. That's the quickest way to find it. If you wanted to, you could zoom in on this deck. I'm just moving around with ASD, and scrolling is zooming in, and I just drag these off quickly and flip through them. You could do it that way too. I guess it's up to you. It's preference. But then once you have the cards that you want, you just place them out. Obviously I don't need any more ship cards, so I'm just going to delete that. If you want to move just a card, you go fast like that. Like I'm just click dragging. So click drag, that pulls it off. If I want to move this whole deck, you click and hold and it picks it up. You just have to wait a second and then it'll pick everything up. So I've got a ship. I'll throw Picard on there. Let's throw something else. Sure, we'll just throw anything on here. Couple of crew. Let's see, we've got 30, 40, 52. We'll just get rid of this one. So this is going to be a 46 SP build. So let's say this is what we want. Then I'll grab the ship model with the cards I want, highlight everything, right click, go to save object, and then I can pick a folder if I created folders in here. I'm assuming if you just started out you didn't create folders yet, so we'll just call this a what was it, 46 I think? Yeah, 46 SP Voyager, and hit save. And that's it. Now you created a ship. If you wanted to create a fleet, you'd do that, and then you do it again, and then you do it again. You get all the ships and the cards that you want. You highlight everything, and then you right click, save object, and you might do like a 120 SP Federation Voyager, whatever you want to call it. But you can do this with as many ships as you wanted to. Once you're done building whatever you want to build, you go to games up on top, and then click on workshop right here. These are all the things that you've subscribed to, and you want to find Star Trek Attack Wing Setup. This is the one that has the game board, and this is where you can play. So now I'm in here. The default playmat is nice because it has the area where you can place your ships. It has a line right there. So obviously the first thing I want to do is bring my ship in here. So what you want to do is objects, and then in your saved objects, what you want to do is grab whatever you want to play with. So here's our 46 SP Voyager. When I talked about making folders, this is where you can manage what you have in here. So I can go to the up on top, I can hit create folder, and I can say we'll call this fleet builds for fun. Hit create. Here's a folder. So this is, once you start building a lot of different things, it's a good idea to get things into folders so you can keep things a little bit organized. But then close that. Here's the ship. And then to control this ship, the first thing I'm going to want to do is sync it to one of these control panels, or tablets. I'm not sure what they would be called. But this one is a normal base. You can see up the right hand side it says normal base. This one's a large base. This is a Borg cube. This is the Nord class station. So obviously we want the normal one. And what I do is hover over it and then do Control C to copy, and then Control V and once it's on the ship, you want to sink it. Actually, before you put it on there, let's name the ship. So what I like to do is name it the captain and then the level that the captain is, because that'll give you a clear indication of the order that these ships are moving. So let's right click on it, and then under name I'm just going to hit Picard 9. So this ship is Picard 9. I can put this pad on it and see how right now it's normal empty. As soon as I put it on there and I click sync, this little orange button, it's going to say in the lower left hand corner Picard 9 found. This pad is now synced with this ship, and anything that I click on here is the ship's going to do. So let's say I wanted to do 2 ahead. I can flip around, I can come back. If I want to do some actions, these are all the action buttons, so I can hit battle stations, scan. I could do a sensor echo. Down here, this is a sensor echo 2 over to the left, front, straight side, and then back. So obviously the ship can't do a sensor echo, but if it could, let's say I wanted to do a 2 over and forward, then I would just do this one, and notice it went 2 over and then up a little bit. If that caused a collision, or let's say I did like a 2 forward and it caused a collision, what I would do is hit undo and then grab the movement template and stick it in front of it, depending on how serious you want to get, because generally if we're just playing a quick fun game, we just kind of move it to where we think it would be. But you could do this and move it along until it had the collision, and then figure out where it would be that way. Or if I had a collision, usually I'll just slide it straight back and then drop it where it should be. But the other thing you want to sync to it, now that we have this movement template, is also this dial. And this is going to be your maneuver dial where you enter in your maneuvers. So if we paste that on here, as soon as we hit sync, it's going to flip it over and it's going to name it. So see how this is also Picard 9, this is Picard 9, this is Picard 9. Anything that we put in this area is going to be invisible to anyone that isn't on our team. So if you notice right now, my team is white in the upper right hand corner. If I click on my name and I go to change color, I can pick red, and now my name is red. So now I'm on team red, my cursor, my hand is red, and best of all, I can see inside this box, and my opponent can't. So this is where I'm going to set my maneuver. So I'm going to set a let's go with the 2 bank right. Once I hit set, it hides it, and I can put this next to my ship. And then generally what you do to indicate that you're done setting your maneuvers is you just hit the tab key, because that makes a sound, and it's just it's nice to know when the other guy is ready. When I'm ready to make my maneuver, I just hit show, and it says 2 bank right. So I come down here, I hit the 2 bank right, and then I'm going to do a battle stations action. And that's it. I'm done. So that is how you play. I think that's about it. You could use this for a range ruler. Oh, I forgot something very important. Let's do an undo. When you use the undo button, which is Control Z, it does unsync your board, so you're going to have to resync it. But this is probably one of the coolest things that was added to this mod, and that's the range ruler. Because we used to do this and try to look, oh yeah, he's in range, or no, he's not in range. It's kind of cumbersome. Now all you have to do is click this little icon, and it shows you exactly where your target is for range wise. So if I had another Picard, I just Control V, and then I hit this, I can see that he is in range 3 and he's in my primary arc. And if you don't want to play on this holodeck looking board, there's this button on over here, it says next map, and you can toggle through a whole bunch of different play surfaces. Also, this box is full of goodies, the extra items. you can start dragging stuff out to look at it, but I prefer to just right click on it and go to search, because then you can see everything that's in here. You've got your mine tokens, you've got planets, pretty much anything you would need. Let's grab, we'll grab a planet token, drop it on there. Over here, this is really cool. These are 22 demo builds. So if I do a search on here, it shows all these demo builds, and all of these are 40 SP. So if you want to skip the whole making your own fleet, making your own ship build, you can come right in here and say, I'm just going to play the Kornak. And inside of here is going to be the ship and a stack of cards. And when you pull the cards apart, it has everything you need to start playing right away. You don't even have to do any fancy building. And they're all built pretty well, so you don't have to worry about not being competitive with these builds. If you want to just play your friend real quick, I recommend just grabbing one of these. He can grab one, and then you can try it out real quick. It'll be easy. If you want to do a target lock, you can drop one of these locks by your ship and one of these locks by someone else, or you can rename one of these locks to be, let's say, Picard 9. I'll rename this A to be Picard 9 and drag it by my target ship, and that would say that, you know, that's where that's locked. Here are all the dice. Here's all the mission tokens. Let's look at attack dice. If I drag real quick, I get a die out. If I hover over the top and I right click, each time I right click I grab another one, and then I just drop them on the table, draw a square, and I hit the letter R a bunch of times, however many times I want. And then let's say I had something that would convert battle stations. So I'm going to roll it, hope that I get a battle stations. I did. Okay, I got 2 of them. What you do is you hit on the number pad on your keyboard. You can select what position you want that die to be. So let's say this one's a hit. I hit the number 3, and this is the number 3. Number 1 is a crit, number 2 is blank, and number 5 is battle station. So I can switch these to whatever I want depending on what modifiers I have. And that about wraps it up. I want to keep this short and simple. So you could run 2 games at once. There's 2 problems with that. The in-game chat, the in-game talking, is not very good. Sometimes it gets delayed. It's kind of compressed. So I recommend using something like Discord, TeamSpeak, Ventrilo, Skype, whatever voice chat thing you want. Steam even has something built in. If you want to use that, you could initiate a phone call with someone. But when you play 2 games at once, it's kind of tough, because when you're both using in-game voice, because you're hearing everything they're saying and you're trying to talk to your opponent. But other than that, I think it's fun to have people. They'll come in here and they'll just look at things. If you notice this way off in the distance, ignore this. This controls a lot of things that make this board work. So, yeah, pretend that's not there. Don't move any of that stuff around. But yeah, that's about it. We play most nights pretty late, but if you are interested in playing a game with myself or the mod author or a handful of other guys that are playing pretty actively, just post wherever, probably on the mod page or on Facebook or anywhere else. We'll find it. Otherwise, just come on here and look for games. I'll share my Discord voice chat address, so you can kind of come in and introduce yourself and see if you want to play a game or try something, or if you have any questions, we can help you out. One more thing I want to mention, if you are playing with a friend and you want to open the game up to the public, but you don't want anyone coming in and wrecking your game, what I recommend doing is clicking multiplayer, host a server, give your server a name. You could password protect it, but I think that's kind of a bummer, because you miss out on meeting new people or encountering other people that play Attack Wing on here. And what we can do is we can prevent people from wrecking our game, and I'll show you how. What we do is hit create server, go to workshop. I'm going to load up the Star Trek Attack Wing setup, And right now, anyone can join and anyone can pick their color. And once they pick a color, they can interact with the table. Before they pick their color, they can't do anything. I can because it's my, this is my game that I created. But anyone who joins right now, they're unable to move anything on the table until they pick a color. And the way that you do that is you go under Options, and then Options again. There's a Permissions tab, and you want to make sure this is not selected, because what this will do is make it so people, when they join, they cannot change their color, and therefore they won't be able to flip your table, they won't be able to move stuff around, they won't be able to draw a giant square, drop everything off the table. Most of those guys are X-Wing players. Not to rip on the X-Wing players, but it seems like that happens a lot more in X-Wing. But there are the guys that'll come in and they'll say, "Hey, can I play?" And they'll act really friendly, and as soon as you give them any kind of permissions, they'll just mess up your game. So pretty much don't trust anyone until you're in between games, because if you're in the middle of the game, you really don't want to give anyone permission. The way that you give your friend permission to interact is they're going to show up here in this upper right hand corner. You click on their name and you hit promote. Once they're promoted, they have permission to pick their color. So other than that, I mean, you can ban people for being annoying, but it hasn't been too bad. We've played quite a few games on here. I've probably had maybe 2 people that were a little bit annoying, but no one that I've had to ban yet. So again, if you have any questions about how that works or anything, let me know. I'll help you out.